Good morning, children. Today I am going to continue the lesson 3.1 God's Greatest Gift. In the previous video, I taught you trees are greatest gift to man and their life is more than human beings and animals' life. This is the largest living thing on the earth, and we can count the age of a tree by counting its ring in its trunk. Thick layer offering showing good rainfall of the year, and thin layer is showing less rainfall of the year. That much I taught you in the previous video. Now I'm going to continue from second paragraph. Men in olden days used wood for making their homes, rafts, canoes, and weapons. They used it as fuel to cook and to keep themselves warm. In addition to wood, man was dependent on trees for many other things also. He got from them fruits and nuts for his food. Leaves of the palm and other trees were used for thatching roof. The bark and the leaves of trees were used for clothing. Utensils were made from calabashes, coconut, and the shells of other fruits. A number of medicines, dyes, tanning material, and spices were obtained from trees. Here, uses of tree is given in this paragraph. So, in olden days means earlier, a long time ago, people used wood for making many things like homes, rafts, canoes, weapons, fuels, and etc. Many things. Here, homes, rafts. Raft means, you can see the meaning here. A flat structure of logs tied together, used as a boat. Again, a flat structure of logs. Logs means wooden piece tied together, used as a boat. So, wood is used as a boat for making rafts. Canoes. Canoes means, you can see the meaning, a long narrow boat. This is also one type of boat, a long narrow boat. And weapons. Weapons, any equipment for fighting or killing. Weapons. Wood is used for making weapons also. They used it as fuel to cook. In earlier days, wood is used as a fuel to cook the food and to keep themselves warm. Fuel means any material that is burned to produce heat or power. Okay? So for getting wood, men was depend on trees. He got fruits and nuts from trees. Now, leaves of trees were used for thatching roof. Thatching means, here you can see, covering a roof with dried straw, leaves, etc. Covering a roof with dried straw, leaves, etc. So men use these leaves for thatching the roof. Now, the bark and the leaves of tree were used for clothing. The bark. Bark means the rough outer covering of tree trunks and branches. The rough outer covering of tree trunks and branches. This is used for making cloths. Utensils. Utensils were made from calabashes, coconut, and the shells of other fruits. Utensils means any tools that is used in home, and it is made from calabashes. Calabashes means a bottle guard, the hard outer covering of which is used as a utensil for holding liquid. Means this type of equipment were made from calabashes, coconut, and the shells of other fruits. And many medicines, dyes. Medicines, dyes means for coloring, tanning, tanning material. Tanning means changing animal skin into leather by treating it with an acid obtained from the bark of certain trees. Tanning means changing animal skin into leather by treating it with an acid which is obtained from the bark of certain trees. Bark of certain trees means bark, here it is given the rough outer covering of tree, this is called bark, and this tanning is made from bark of certain trees. So dyes, tanning material and spices were obtained from trees. In present time also, man is no less dependent on trees. He has no doubt invented many things that can take the place of wood. He has begun to use concrete, steel, glass, and plastic in place of wood. But even then, the demand for wood has increased vastly. For example, we need lots of wood for making paper, cardboard, and packing cases. Here, nowadays, man has invented many things like concrete, steel, glass, plastic, and many more things. But then also, demand for wood has increased vastly. For example, we need lots of wood for making paper, cardboard, and packing cases. Okay, so this is first part of your chapter. Now we can continue with second part of this chapter. Trees are invaluable for another reason also. They supply us with oxygen, without which no life would be possible. As I told you yesterday also, trees are invaluable. Invaluable means extremely useful. For another reason also, which reason? That they supply us what? They supply us oxygen. And without this, no life would be possible. We cannot live without oxygen. So, trees are invaluable, means extremely useful for us. There is oxygen in the air, but it is being constantly used up and turned into carbon dioxide, CO2. When animals breathe and things burn, oxygen is consumed and carbon dioxide is produced. The green leaves of trees absorb this carbon dioxide with the help of sunlight. They break it into carbon and oxygen. The carbon is used by green leaves to make starch. The oxygen is released back into the air. Here, first you see this diagram in your book. It is not clear in this. Photosynthesis uses carbon dioxide from air and produce oxygen. Here, there is oxygen in the air. Means oxygen is present in the air, but it is being constantly used up. It is constantly used up and turned into carbon dioxide. We are taking oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide, And when animal breathe and things burn, oxygen is consumed. Oxygen is needed for burning anything. So when we burn anything, oxygen is consumed and carbon dioxide is produced. When anything burn, we need oxygen also, and when it burn, carbon dioxide is produced. The green leaves of trees absorb this carbon dioxide. Trees are observing this carbon dioxide, they are taking this carbon dioxide and giving us oxygen. And with the help of sunlight, they break it into carbon and oxygen. The carbon is used by green leaves to make starch. Starch means a food substance that provides the body with heat and energy. Again, a food substance that provides the body with heat and energy. Okay, so here you can see with the help of sunlight they break it into carbon and oxygen. The carbon is used by green leaves to make starch. The oxygen is released back into the air. Okay, now you can see. Thus, the oxygen used up in burning and breathing is replaced in the atmosphere. But for this, animals, including human beings, would soon die due to lack of oxygen. Here, this is the cycle. Cycle, photosynthesis cycle. This is interchangeable. Interchangeable means we are taking oxygen, we are getting oxygen from trees, and we are releasing carbon dioxide. Trees are taking this carbon dioxide and again releasing oxygen. So this is interchangeable process. Here it is given oxygen used up in burning. For burning, oxygen is used, and for breathing, oxygen is used and is replaced in the atmosphere, and it goes in the atmosphere. But for this means you have to see here, but for this, if it had not been so, if it had not been so, if it is not been so, then what would happen? Including human beings would soon die due to lack of oxygen. If this circle will not present in our atmosphere, then what happened? Animals, human beings would soon die due to lack of oxygen. The stretch produced by green leaves serve as food for animals. But for this, all animals would die. Animals get all their food from plants or by eating animals that feed on plants. Here, the starch produced by green leaves. Green leaves are making food, and this food serve as food for animals. But for this, again the same meaning, but for this, it means if it had not been so. Okay, don't confuse for but for this. It means if it had not been so. If it had not been so, then what would happen? All animals would die. Animals get all their food from plants or by eating animals that feed on plants. So animals also depend on plants and trees. Okay. So if this cycle will not present, then what would happen? All animals would die. And all human beings also would die very soon due to lack of oxygen. Trees also help to cool the atmosphere. The leaves of trees give out a lot of water vapor. It helps to cool the air. When rain clouds pass through the cool air, they condense and come down as rain. That is why there is a greater rainfall over places where we have thick forest. Here we all know trees also help to cool the atmosphere. Where there is a forest, there is heavy rainfall. So trees help to cool the atmosphere. The leaves of trees give out a lot of water vapors. When this leaves gives water vapor, it helps to cool the air. And when rain clouds pass through the cool air, they condense. Condense means change from vapor to water. Change from vapor to water. When the clouds passes through this cool air, they condense means they change from vapor to water and come down as rain. Come down as rain. And that is why there is a greater rainfall. Where? Where we have thick forest. Where we have thick forest, there is a greater rainfall. Means heavy rainfall all the time because of trees, because of forest. Our earth has a fine layer of soil at the surface. All plants grow in this soil only. Under the soil, there are rocks of various kinds. Here, we all know our earth has a fine layer of soil at the surface. Earth has fine layer of soil at the surface. All plants grow in this soil only. We all know that all plants grow in this soil. And under the soil, there are rocks of various kind. You have maybe studied in science many layers of soil. Under it, rocks of various kind. So this is very useful for growing the plants. Soil is useful for growing the plant, any kind of plant. Soil is very important. So this much I taught you now. I will continue in the next video. Till then, thank you.